Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the May 9th, 2022 legislative session of the Salisbury City Council.
Hey.
Oh,
I'll mute them 1 second.
Before we get started, a safety announcement. If for some reason there's an emergency, we ask that you leave the council chambers in an orderly fashion, make a right-hand turn down the hall, and go down the stairs at the end of the hall. If for some reason that exit is blocked, please exit the chamber, make a left-hand turn, then a right-hand turn, all the way down to the end of the hall and down the stairs. Please do not use the elevators if there is an emergency. If you need assistance, please ask and it will be provided to you. Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and at this time I'll call on Anthony Dickerson from the Great Olive Full Gospel Baptist Church for our invocation.
Shall we pray? Kind Father, we thank you and we adore you. We thank you for a wonderful day that you've blessed us with. Now, Father, we pray that you will come in the midst of this city council meeting. We pray, God, that you will guide the words and guide our conversations. And Father, we pray for our elected officials, that they will make the decisions that they need to make for the betterment of this community. God, we pray for a spirit of unity and togetherness. And God, we just thank you and we magnify you. We thank you that you're giving them the wisdom and the knowledge to conduct the day-to-day operations. And God, we pray that the words of their mouth and the meditations of their heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength. And our Redeemer. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Anthony. Please rise now and join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
From here.
Ms. Glantz, we have two proclamations.
Good evening, Council, and it sounds like our room is haunted. I'm not sure where that audio is coming from, but we'll try to figure it out. Good evening, everybody. Happy to present two proclamations for you for two really important causes. First up is the celebration of Haitian Heritage Month. We have an incredibly large Haitian population in this community, if you did not know that, and it is ever growing with immigrants that are struggling to find services, so our community is quickly, we've got a Haitian Development Center right downtown that is working quickly to try to provide more services to that population, but certainly is a very important need. So whereas first celebrated in Boston, Massachusetts in 1998, May has been designated throughout the United States as a month for celebrating the history, achievements, and contributions of the Haitian culture. And whereas Haitian Heritage Month provides the city of Salisbury diverse community with an opportunity to recognize and celebrate the many historic, cultural, social, and economic contributions of Haitians to the United States and the world. And whereas the observance of Haitian Heritage Month allows students, families, and the community to learn about and demonstrate pride in Haitian culture and history, and whereas the Haitian community in Salisbury for their 9th consecutive year will come together on Sunday, May 22nd, 2022 to celebrate their Flag Day and historical and cultural identity. And whereas the Haitian people have a magnificent and rich heritage and their descendants have made numerous contributions to politics and the arts and sciences. Now, therefore, on behalf of the mayor of the city of Salisbury, I do hereby proclaim May 2022 as Haitian Heritage Month and invite everybody to join the Flag Day on May 22nd. If you haven't been over the last 7 or so years, it is a terrific event with great food and music and culture and sorry.
Pay attention.
So I hope you all can come down for that. Excuse me 1 second.
Okay, we apologize for that slight diversion. I think we may have it solved. So, Ms. Glanz, I apologize.
I feel bad for Haitian
Yeah.
Heritage Month. I didn't give it justice, but May, Haitian Heritage Month, come down to the Haitian Flag Day on May 22nd.
May 22nd.
It will
It's a
not
great event.
Be disappointed. Our second proclamation, do you guys want to join me up here? Is for Emergency Medical Services Week. Whichever side you want. That's great. So whereas emergency medical service is a vital public service and the city of Salisbury is committed to ensuring the safety and security of its citizens, and whereas the members of the city of Salisbury Emergency Medical Services are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas emergency medical services have grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. And whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. And whereas the members of the City of Salisbury's emergency medical service, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and accomplishments of emergency medical services providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week, on behalf of Jacob Arday, I do hereby proclaim May 15th through the 22nd as Emergency Medical Services Week. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, here you go. Do you want to say anything about calls or
I can real quick.
just like how
but
we're increasing calls? Oh, let's go.
yeah, thank you very much, Council, Mayor, Julia. Yeah, calls keep going up for EMS, and the men and women of Salisbury Fire keep rising to the occasion. We're up 8% overall, 10% EMS, 6% fire, give or take. And yeah, it doesn't get any easier, but they're ready to do the job and take care of it as best they can. So thank you very much.
We thank you. We need to be thanking you for the service you guys provide, guys and gals. You do a tremendous job, and we appreciate it. And so do our citizens, I'm sure. Thank you. Okay, we have two presentations this evening. I'll introduce the first. The following people, Haley Taylor, Megan Spicer, and Wyatt Parks, represent the student government of Salisbury University. And I had the honor of kicking off I Love Salisbury, which was last Saturday. And the feedback that I've gotten, and they'll tell you a little bit about it, but the feedback I've gotten is the citizens really appreciated the work that you guys did. So why don't you come up to the podium, and whoever wants to start. And Ms. Glantz will do the, so you're all set.
All right, perfect. So just to start us off, we're going to do some introductions of ourselves. So I am Haley Taylor. I am the outgoing vice president and incoming chief of staff for the SGA at Salisbury.
I'm Wyatt Parks. I'm the incoming chief justice of the SGA.
I'm Megan Spicer. I'm an outgoing senator and an incoming director of marketing and communications for SGA.
And to give some context to I Love Salisbury, this is a program that we've been doing for several years, as our very own Julia Glantz knows. We do two major volunteer events, which incorporates volunteers from all across the university. We have I Love Salisbury and Big Event. Previously, we did I Love Salisbury in the fall and Big Event in the spring. But about 2 years ago, we flipped them. So now we do Big Event in the fall and I Love Salisbury in the spring. And traditionally, those events were pretty similar. They were We would go around to houses within the Salisbury community and rake leaves and collect them for composting. But we decided to switch up the events a little bit, so we weren't doing the same event every semester. So with Big Event, that remained a leaf cleaning event. But I Love Salisbury has become more of a volunteer and community outreach event where we've been focusing on servicing areas that we haven't really focused on in the past.
Just tell me next slide when you're ready. Yeah.
So this year, we had a lot of participants. We had over 400 people sign up from different organizations within our school. So a lot of different organizations there. We had 3 different services that we did, and we can touch upon them later, but we woke up at about 7:30 a.m., but the people who volunteered got there at around 9 a.m., and we worked for a few hours, and we got a lot done. We also were able to use the trolley, which was really nice, and it helped students traveling from different locations.
So one of the things that we had done was we had planted these eco-friendly bee bombs in neighborhoods around the area where they were like, what were they, little dirt balls with?
Yeah, like little wildflower, like seed bombs is what they're called.
Basically to kind of like attract bees and kind of jumpstart like pollination and stuff and, you know, really invoke more beauty of nature in the area.
This was also done in collaboration with our Environmental Student Association. There is a student there who is doing this Airbnb project, which he has a green fund for, which is a fund that the Salisbury has set up for students to propose environmentally friendly projects for the university and the surrounding area. So he has received funding for the Airbnb, and I believe he also received funding from the USM. So we collaborated with him for this bee project, and prior to I Love Salisbury, we went around to houses within the community to get them to sign up to be part of this Airbnb. Next slide.
So we also did some street cleaning up, so I don't know the actual names on the top of my head, but there were a bunch of different streets that organizations just went to, picked up trash. As pictured, you could see them trimming hedges to some parks and just like making it look nice and presentable, just helping out the community.
In addition, we also did some cleaning up of the little libraries on the streets that we selected. Next slide, please.
One thing we did was we went to the parks around and we had the frats and sororities and any other volunteers that came out to help us. We distributed a bunch of rakes and we had them fill up trash bags, you know, clean up all the leaves that were in the area and just make the parks a little bit more nicer, more appealing for people to want to come out there and play and, you know, come together as a community. And then once they were done, we had teams come out and we would come and pick the trash up and then drop it off at a dumpster on campus.
And as Wyatt noted, our fraternity and sororities are actually one of our largest participants in this event. A lot of their individual leadership will make this event mandatory for their members. So we are very appreciative of fraternity and sorority turnout for these events because it definitely contributes to those large numbers of volunteers that we have. So some future plans that we have, we want to continue to partner with the city in our future events. So big event, we have in the past kind of built up a running list of houses that we service. And so it's become sort of the same houses every year. We definitely want to work on expanding that to service some more community members than we have in the past. And we want to work on expanding different projects that we're working on during I Love Salisbury as well. And we hope to partner with the city in order to find more service opportunities for our students. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions or follow-up, you can email our president, Andrew Wilson, at sgapres@gulls.salisbury.edu.
Great. I was there for the kickoff. Everybody knows Red Square. They took up a great deal of Red Square. And there was actually a picture of that, and I should have put that up there. But how many hours did you guys work?
We had volunteers gather in Red Square at around 9. And I believe we cleared the last zone at around 1. So we give our organizations different assignments based off of number of volunteers and how many people we sort of estimate are needed to complete a project. So some of the larger parks, we had some of our larger volunteer groups assigned, and those usually take a little bit longer. Some of the assignments, like the Airbnbs, took 30 minutes to an hour to kind of clean up, and then we usually redirect our volunteers to other zones that are in need. So I believe the longest zone was like that. We dismissed around 10, so around 10 to 1, and we had completed all of our projects. So
Fantastic. Any other questions or comments?
Thank you very much.
Jack, I just have one.
Sure.
Congratulations on a great event. And not really a question, but just a comment. 7:30, that is late. You guys must have it
I knew that
much
was
more
coming.
organized.
Yes.
I remember taking out rakes, like
we do all of that
6
the night
o'clock.
before.
Right.
We take out all the rakes the night before and have everything loaded up, and then we have minute-by-minute schedules to ensure that everything happens efficiently.
Well, much more organized than we were. But I really loved the pollinator focus of this year, and hopefully we can do more of that in the future, and definitely opportunities to partner. So thank you all.
And we applaud you. Please take the message back to the other 397.
Yeah.
Next up, we have good friend Tim Aylesworth, Legit Executive Director. Tim?
Thank you, sir. If I were these young people, I would take this idea and sell it around the country to colleges.
Yeah.
I think it's a tremendous thing, both for the university doing something positive as well as good for the community. And I hope that I'm here tonight to, help the community as well. I'm here tonight to present a check for body cameras and body camera storage, which is where the real expense is, for $4,425 to Chief Duncan. But before I do that, I'd like to talk about some of the great things that are going on here in Salisbury right now as far as our relationship with you. But even before that, I'd like to thank the city of Salisbury for belonging to Legit. Without you folks, we wouldn't be here. We appreciate everything you do as far as trying to be and being a good member of Legit. I just want to thank you. But in the last several years, since I've been at Legit, you've sent 260 employees to, this is just in 5 years rather, 260 employees to training. You've applied for 7 grants. This is your second body camera grant. And then the previous awards have been for body cameras, snowplow, training, liability management for SWAT and emergency response, employment law training, email do's and don'ts, and defensive driving. And so I do want to compliment the city, a total of grants of $18,500 roughly over the last 5 years. So you're taking advantage of the services we have to offer, and I want to compliment you. I know we were having some trouble with the police department here 5, 6, 7 years ago, and Chief Duncan has just done a wonderful job in the last few years with your department. And so I want to congratulate her and present this check. Thank you.
Tim, for those watching and for some of the people in the audience, could you tell us what LEGIT stands for, LGI?
Yes, sir. Local Government Insurance Trust, founded in 1987 at a time when local governments could not get insurance, property and liability insurance, or insurance for police or for employment case situations. And at the time, 24 local governments in Maryland joined together, counties and municipalities, to create this program. As a side note, Wacomico County belongs to Legit as well. But Maryland is unusual in that most states, the county association and the municipal league would form separate organizations. I just want to compliment this state. I've worked in 2 other states, and this is the only one where the county and the municipalities joined together to create one group, and it's been a wonderful experience. I'm actually retiring in November 1st, and so this has been the best job of my life in working with fine folks like you. But at any rate, for the last 13 years, it's been great. We've returned about $45 million to the members in discounts and credits. We've increased our Our actuary says we need more money because our liabilities are going up because of the changes at the General Assembly. And so we've been able to increase our money to cover those losses as well. In fact, our actuary recently opined that we have a less than 1% chance of not being able to pay our bills if we had to close shop tomorrow. And I attribute that to the great management and stewardship of my Board of Trustees, which is made up of 5 municipal members, 5 county members, the Executive Director of MML, Scott Hancock, and Michael Sanderson, the Executive Director of the Maryland Association of Counties. But
Thank you.
thank you, sir.
You can get your picture taken now.
Yes, ma'am.
You can crop it.
We can crop. What a funny day.
Thank you, Tim. We wish you the best in your retirement. I hope you're better at it than I was.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
At this time, I'll call for a motion and a second to adopt the legislative agenda. Ms. Blake, Mr. Boda. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The chair votes aye. The legislative agenda is approved by a vote of 4-0. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Gregory, Ms. Blake. Ms. Nichols, good afternoon, or good evening.
Good evening.
Still light out.
So on the consent agenda tonight, we have 2 items. The first one is April 18th, 2022 work session minutes. And we also have resolution number 3168, approving the reappointment of Elise Trilligan to the Sustainability Advisory Committee for May 2025, term ending. That's it.
Thank you. I'll call the motion. All those in favor of the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The chair votes aye. The consent agenda is approved by a vote of 4-0. Thank you, Mrs. Nichols. And I'd like to thank Elise Treligan for volunteering. I think this is a re-up, is it not?
Yes.
It is. So thank you for the service in the past and looking forward for your service in the future. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve the award of bids.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Boda, Mrs. Gregory. Mrs. Miller, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Just one item this evening. For invitation to bid, number 22-122, the Park Water Treatment Plant Raw Water Main. This was at the request of the Department of Infrastructure and Development. This includes all labor, equipment, and materials for the replacement of approximately 220 feet of raw water main, new flow meter, meter vault, control wiring, and dry well. Bids were put out publicly on February 11th. Bids were opened on March 23rd. We did receive 3 bids. The lowest responsive and responsible bidder was True Grit LLC from Clayton, Delaware, for a total cost of $405,239. This project is fully funded in the account noted in your packet. The city did follow required bidding practices by publicly posting the solicitation on the City of Salisbury's procurement portal and the State of Maryland's website, eMaryland Marketplace Advantage. The departmental memo provides a little bit of additional information.
Questions or comments from the council?
I noticed that there's a bit of a difference between the 3. Is there?
Between the what? Oh,
Well,
the bid prices?
Yeah, the bid prices. Was there any concerns about that, or was there something that they were doing to reduce costs come in line with that? Just because it's...
No, I don't really think so. It really came down to maybe between 2 and 3 different items. The biggest differences came in, so we had, a total of 205. 20 different line items on this bid. So out of that, there were maybe 2 or 3 that were the big differences between them. One was to furnish and install a 24-inch PVC water main. The difference between the low bid there and the high bid was about $49,000. Not extreme, but that's one of the differences. And then on one of our other bid items where we asked for the price on the vault, the signal wire, the sump pump, the dry well, actually, in that one, there was a pretty big discrepancy between the lowest bidder, who we're won a contract with, True Grit, and the highest bidder. The delta there was about $155,000. But when you look at our low bidder that we'd like to award to the second low bidder, it's only a delta of $17,000. So,
Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll call the motion. All those in favor of the award of bids, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The chair votes aye. The
Thank
award
you.
of bids is approved by a vote of 4-0. Thank you, Mrs. Miller. Next, we have a resolution to approve the city's action plan for Community Development Block Grant. I'll enter a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Gregory, Ms. Blake. Ms. Glantz.
resolution number 3169, a resolution of the City of Salisbury, Maryland, to approve the city's action plan for Community Development Block Grant CDBG funds for CDBG program year 2022. Whereas the Maryland State Office of the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, has determined that the City of Salisbury qualifies as an entitlement community. And whereas the City of Salisbury is therefore entitled to receive CDBG funds directly from HUD upon HUD's approval of the city's annual action plan. And whereas the Council of the City of Salisbury wishes the city to receive this annual allotment of CDBG funds from HUD so that various community development projects may be completed.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, I'll call the motion. All those in favor of resolution number 3169, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the chair votes aye. Resolution number 3169 is approved by a vote of 4-0. And before we leave this, I'd like to recognize Debbie Stam, who is our grant administrator and does a wonderful job, and we thank you for all your work.
Mr. President,
Yes.
can't let Debbie leave the room without acknowledging her pending
No.
retirement.
She's not allowed.
We've tried to tie her up. She keeps going. But when's your last day? The end of the month? May 27th. May 27th. So
You don't know, you forget that number.
Debbie has been instrumental, monumental for I don't know if you've added up all the money that you've gotten us over the years, but
Millions.
millions, I would
Millions.
imagine. So we're grateful for your service, and we're going to miss you.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, I'll now entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2717 for the second reading.
So moved.
Ms. Blake, Mr. Boda. Ms. Boucher, good afternoon, or good evening.
Good evening to everyone as well. Ordinance number 2717, an ordinance of the City of Salisbury to amend Chapter 5.52 of the City Code defining the definition of food service facility in lieu of restaurant and granting the City Fire Marshal the authority to enforce the provisions of Chapter 5.52. This is before you for second reading, and there have been no changes or amendments since the first reading.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the motion. All those in favor of ordinance number 2717 for the second reading, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The chair votes aye. Ordinance number 2717 is approved by a vote of 4-0. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2718 for the second reading.
Second.
Mr. Boda, Mrs. Gregory.
Ordinance number 2718 2718, an ordinance of the City of Salisbury amending Chapter 2.32 of the Salisbury City Code entitled Purchases and Sales to increase the maximum dollar amount for direct purchases and the minimum dollar amount for formal competitive bidding in order to increase procurement efficiency in a market of increased cost. There have been no changes or amendments since first reading.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the council?
None.
Hearing none, I'll call the motion. All those in favor of ordinance number 2718 for the second reading, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the chair votes aye. Ordinance number 2718 is approved by a vote of 4-0. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2720 for the second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Blake, Mrs. Gregory.
Ordinance number 2720, an ordinance of the City of Salisbury amending Section 15.22 of the Salisbury City Code entitled Vacant Buildings to require registration of vacant lots and payment of annual fees. Following the last council meeting on May the 9th, my office made a number of changes, which I will highlight now to try to alleviate some of council's concerns. We'll go down to Chapter 15.22.010. The first change there, it's now going to read as follows. The provisions of this chapter govern buildings and lots located within the City of Salisbury. We have deleted, with the exception that the provisions of this chapter shall not apply to lots located within residential districts, because we take care of that in another section. The next change, going to Chapter 15.22.030, moving down to the definition of lot, which is found in line 70. Lot now is defined to mean a parcel or property without a building or other improvement on site. Vacant is now redefined to mean as follows. No person or persons actually currently conduct a lawfully licensed business or lawfully reside or live in any part of the building as the legal or equitable owners or tenant occupants on a permanent, non-transient basis. And so we've struck, with respect to lots, vacant means unimproved by an assessed building. Moving forward to Chapter 15.22.040, moving down to line 119, we have added here the exception in subsection E, which reads as follows. This section does not apply to a vacant lot that, 1, adjoins a non-vacant lot or property that is titled to the same owner of record as the vacant lot, is currently used in conjunction with a licensed business for parking, storage, or other legitimate purpose, or is located within a residential district. There were no other changes from first reading.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to amend as read?
So moved.
Ms. Blake, do I have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Gregory, seconded. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call the amendment first. All those in favor of the amendment as read, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The chair votes aye. The amendment is passed by a vote of 3-1. Now we'll call the main motion. All those in favor of ordinance number 2720 for the second reading, please signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Nay.
I'm sorry, repeat that. I got,
Now, the first one was on the amendment as
Right.
read.
Okay.
And the second one is on the actual amendment.
aye,
Aye.
sorry.
Opposed?
No.
Ordinance number 2720 is approved by a vote of 3-1. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2724 for the second reading.
So moved.
Mr. Boda, Mrs. Gregory.
Ordinance number 2724, an ordinance of the City of Salisbury approving a budget amendment of the FY 2022 general fund budget to appropriate funds to the Salisbury Fire Department's operating budget. This is before you for second reading, and there have been no changes or amendments since first.
Questions or comments from the council?
None.
Hearing none, I'll call the motion. All those in favor of ordinance number 2724 for the second reading, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Ordinance number 2724 is approved by a vote of 4-0. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2725 for the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Gregory, Ms. Blake.
Ordinance number 2725, an ordinance of the City of Salisbury authorizing the mayor to accept law enforcement body camera grant funds from the Local Government Insurance Trust in the amount of $4,425 for the Salisbury Police Body Worn Cameras Project. Whereas the Local Government Insurance Trust, legit, funds a grant to help its member law enforcement agencies purchase equipment and services related to officer-worn body cameras, which is the law enforcement body camera grant. Whereas the Salisbury Police Department, having a need for additional body-worn cameras, applied for the said law enforcement body camera grant, and legit has awarded funds to the SBD in the amount of $4,425. And whereas, as required by the terms of the grant, the SBD will provide matching funds in the amount of $4,425. And whereas the SPD has surplus funds available in current year operating accounts to accomplish the required grant match. And whereas the combined grant and matching funds in the amount of $8,850 will be utilized to purchase 5 body-worn cameras and the associated software and data storage for a period of 24 months. And whereas Section 7-29 of the Salisbury City Charter prohibits the city from entering into a contract that requires an expenditure not appropriated or authorized by the Council of the City of Salisbury. And whereas appropriations necessary to execute the purpose of this grant must be made upon the recommendation of the mayor and the approval of 4/5 of the council of the City of Salisbury. Now therefore be it enacted and ordained by the council of the City of Salisbury as follows. Section 1, Mayor Jacob R. Day is hereby authorized to enter into an agreement with the Local Government Insurance Trust on behalf of the City of Salisbury for the city's acceptance of training grant funds in the amount of $4,425. Be it further enacted and ordained by the Council of the City of Salisbury of Maryland as follows. Section 2, that the City of Salisbury's grant fund budget be and hereby is amended as follows. A, increase legit revenue account number 10500-456944-XXXXX by $4,425, and B, increase operating expense account number 10500-5460006-XXXXX by $4,425.
Questions or comments? I'll call the motion. Hearing none. All those in favor of ordinance number 2725 for the first reading, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The chair votes aye. Ordinance number 2725, first reading, is approved by a vote of 4-0. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2726 for the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Blake, Mrs. Gregory.
Ordinance number 2726, an ordinance of the City of Salisbury authorizing the mayor to accept donated funds in the amount of $1,000 from the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore and to approve an amendment to the FY22 budget to appropriate these funds to partially cover the cost of the purchase and installation of a new water fountain at Ben's Red Swings Playground. Whereas the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore, CFES, provides funding for projects that represent and serve the residents of Wicomico County Maryland. And whereas Ben's Red Swings is a playground located in the city of Salisbury that was created to honor the memory of Benjamin Layton and was constructed by his family, friends, and other members of the Salisbury community. And whereas the city has accepted donations from members of the community who are interested in contributing to the maintenance and upkeep of Ben's Red Swings playground. And whereas CFES has awarded the city funds in the amount of $1,000 to partially cover the cost of purchase and installation of a new water fountain at Ben's Red Swings Playground. And whereas Section 7-29 of the Salisbury City Charter prohibits the city from entering into a contract that requires an expenditure not appropriated or authorized by the council of the city of Salisbury. And whereas the appropriations necessary to execute the purpose of this grant must be made upon the recommendation of the mayor and approval of 4/5 of the council of the city of Salisbury. Now therefore be it enacted and ordained by the council of the city of Salisbury, Maryland as follows. Section 1, Mayor Jacob R. Day is hereby authorized to accept a donation from the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore on behalf of the city of Salisbury for the city's acceptance of funds in the amount of $1,000. And be it further enacted and ordained by the council of the city of Salisbury, Maryland as follows. Section 2, the city of Salisbury's FY22 budget be and hereby is amended as follows. A, increase donations or other revenue account number 10700-456-415-76100 by $1,000, and B, increase playground maintenance expense account number 10700-523-628-76100 by $1,000.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the council? Hearing none, I'll call the motion. All those in favor of ordinance number 2726 for the first reading, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The chair votes aye. Ordinance number 2726 for the first reading is approved by a vote of 4-0. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2727 for the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Boda, Mrs. Gregory.
Ordinance number 2727, an ordinance of the City of Salisbury authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Wycomico County Local Behavioral Health Authority for the purpose of accepting community mental health services, COVID relief, block grant funds in the amount of $12,562, and to approve a budget amendment to the grant funds to appropriate these funds for the homeless services case specialist position. Whereas critical time intervention, CTI, is a time-limited, evidence-based practice model designed to mobilize support for vulnerable individuals during periods of transition, including individuals transitioning from homelessness to permanent supportive housing. And whereas the Wycomico County Health Department received fundings from the Behavioral Health Administration for the block grants for community mental health services, COVID relief, specific to the delivery of CTI services. And whereas the Wycomico County Local Behavioral Health Authority has awarded the City of Salisbury a block grant for community mental health services in the amount of $12,562, the CTI funds. And whereas the city's homeless service case specialist position will use CTI principles to assist individuals who are transitioning from homelessness to permanent supportive housing. And whereas a permissible use of the CTI funds is to partially cover the salary costs of the homeless services case specialist. And whereas in order to accept the CTI funds, the city must enter into a memorandum of understanding, or MOU, with the Wycomico County LBHA to define the permitted expenditure and conditions related thereto of the CTI funds. And whereas Section 7-29 of the Salisbury City Charter prohibits the city from entering into a contract that requires an expenditure not appropriated or authorized by the council of the city of Salisbury. And whereas appropriations necessary to execute the purpose of this grant must be made upon the recommendation of the mayor and the approval of 4/5 of the council of the city of Salisbury. Now therefore be it enacted and ordained by the council of the city of Salisbury, Maryland as follows. Section 1, Mayor Jacob R. Day is hereby authorized to enter into a MOU with the Wycomico County LBHA on behalf of the city of Salisbury for the city's acceptance of grants funds in the amount of $12,562. And be it further enacted and ordained by the council of the city of Salisbury as follows. Section 2, the City of Salisbury's grant fund budget be and hereby is amended as follows. A, increase MHBG SAMSHA revenue account number 10530-425XXX-XXXXX by $12,562, and B, increase salaries, non-clerical expense account number 10530-501002-XXXXX by $12,562.
Questions or comments? I have one. You missed one X.
Did I?
There's on the first, on the increase, the MHBG, it's correct here. It's correct in here, but
Okay.
I believe you left out the first one X. Not a big deal.
You got me.
No, that's two. No, I'm only kidding. All right. Questions or comments from the council?
None.
Hearing none, I'll call the motion. All those in favor of ordinance number 2727 for the first reading, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The chair votes aye. Ordinance number 2727 for the first reading is passed by a vote of 4-0. Thank you, Ms. Boucher.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. We now have, I'll open the floor now for public comments, and we do have a request. Mary Grace Kiley. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hi,
Hi.
good evening. My name
Good
is
evening.
Mary Grace Kiley. I live at 709 East Isabella Street. For any of you that are familiar with the East Isabella Street, that's next to East Church Street. So, and I've lived in that home as a homeowner for 42 years. So I'm very aware of what I'm getting ready to talk about. The first is the water department and the proposed budget of increasing the taxes as far as for the budget for the water and sewer. As someone that's lived here and for 42 years, I've seen, of course, it, go up and up. More so, I noticed where the irregularity came in was back in Mayor Barry Tillman's days when we had the water plant fiasco. And we've been paying for that and paying for that and paying for that. And as far as I'm concerned, I guess we're still paying for that because my water intake, my water usage, and my sewer outage is still 2.5 difference, and it shouldn't be. You use water, you get rid of water. Very simple. It should be, sewer should almost kind of really be less than water intake. If you think about it, common sense tells me, because you're using some of the water, so you're not, getting rid of it. But yet the sewer goes up and up and up. And now we're looking at, instead of 2.5 times the difference, we're now looking at more of a difference. I'm not sure where in the budget increase, where you are looking at that at, whether it's flat out fee for this tax. Is it on the sewer end, the water end, the trash end, the bay, save the bay part I'm paying for? I'm not sure which line item this tax increase is going for. But I know that I would, other than I do appreciate Salisbury's great water. As a citizen, I drink it. I buy bottled water, but just to usually give away to people that come to my house for deliveries and things like that. And also if I'm on the go. But mostly, I drink water out of the tap. As long as it's cold, I think it's great. But I just am frustrated by where I see the sewer rate that increases, and it's like it never dissipates. So the money, if we've already paid off the fiasco, we haven't. Jack's shaking his head, excuse me if I call you Jack.
No, it's fine.
Shaking your head, no, so we're still paying for that fiasco. How much longer, I guess I want to know as a concerned citizen and as a homeowner, are we going to be paying for that nightmare? Because then we had to have, bought one, didn't work, so then we had to hire another company, and I'm assuming that's what's working great and wonderful right now.
It's working the best, one of the best in Maryland.
Well, that's awesome to know, since we're paying for one that is non-existent.
You have no argument from me about the old one.
Right. So I just, like I said, as a concerned citizen, the reason why this has come to my attention more so than seeing from the news that we're getting ready to get an increase, because it's either that or raise the property taxes. As a homeowner, so I pay both property tax and I pay water and sewer, unlike renters who all that's in their rent that they pay. So either way, I'm going to get a hit. And I'm actually not sure which is the worst, because as my water was getting disconnected, because apparently I paid it too late online last week for my delinquency notice. So even though I paid my water bill last week, I apparently paid it past the date of the delinquency notice. So apparently I was getting assessed a $50 administrative charge. Now, I will take responsibility that I may have misread. I thought the administrative fee cut off part of, like, say if I get it disconnected, it's part of, and it's not. I learned today that if it gets disconnected and gets reconnected, maybe like tomorrow or something, it's going to be on top of the $50 for it being late, it's going to be $80 to get it turned back on. Now, luckily, I was home, and I really have got to apologize to the words that I said to the gentleman that came because they were doing their job. Then some of the words I used to the water department, because I was told, number one, by the gentleman that came to turn it off, I don't know why you paid it online. It takes 2 days to take notice. And I said, well, I don't care if it's 2 days to take notice. That's not my problem. That is not my problem. And you want to increase rates for a system that apparently doesn't work right now. And that's what made me come tonight and be absolutely livid. Because it's not, the system doesn't work, and you want to raise rates on a system that doesn't work. And I'm on a limited income like a lot of other people. I live on a fixed salary once a month. So it's already frustrating when I see the water bill come every 3 months, and then trying to figure out, like a lot of Americans and like a lot of citizens of Salisbury, trying to figure out how to rob Peter to pay Paul so I can make sure I get this in soon enough to pay it, but yet gives me another month leeway. And then I have to, when I go to pay it, find out there's nothing on the other end saying, oh, Miss Kylie, no, you can't pay this without adding this $50 charge, or your water's still going to get cut off. Even though you paid the main amount, almost $200, and I'm one person living in that household, other than my dog, and I don't think she doesn't have thumbs, so she can't turn on the water. So I'm very careful about my water usage. So there's nothing on that recording that told me you're still going to get your water cut off, except for a gentleman to tell me that I shouldn't be using that online paying service.
Okay, we usually have a 4-minute limit, but I gave
I did not.
That's
I did
okay.
not see that on the form. I was
No
not told.
problem.
I don't normally do this.
It was my fault because I should have told you. But let me take care of the first part, and then I'll turn it over to Ms. Glantz for the second. Yes, we are as frustrated about the increases as you are. We are paying for the debacle that happened a time ago. And we are still, and we will be paying for it. And we still have a large debt. And that's something we can't afford to miss. We have to pay the debt. So otherwise, they bring action, the state will bring, so we have issues. However, on the other side of it, that's the administrative side of the business. So would you like to comment?
Yes, thanks, Mr. President. I'm sorry to hear about the experience that you have had today. I don't believe that is the case about the 2-day payment issue. I will confirm with our finance team if that is factual. I want to call attention to our water incentive program that we have, if you're not aware of it, and for anybody else that may be out there. It used to be called our Water Hardship program. We've rebranded it to hopefully get more folks to take advantage of it. If you are behind on your water payment, you can apply for this. The application is online, or it's downstairs in finance, or we can drop one off for you. But it is an easy form to fill out that will allow you to get up to $2,000 of a late water bill for the entire year. So I think if you had multiple quarters that you were behind that added up to $2,000, you could take advantage of that. So I'm just sharing that.
And I'm glad you did. I heard about it, but I didn't understand how to work, because when I was looking into it, I thought, well, how is this going to help me pay this month's water bill?
Sure.
Do I have to pay all of this, and then it's going to add it up, and after $2,000, it's going to then help me out? I didn't get it, and so I didn't, and like I said, I just did not comprehend how that was going to help me pay this quarter's water bill.
Sure.
So.
Well, we can have somebody reach out to you if you want to stay
That
after.
would be
I can grab
wonderful.
your phone number. And just to echo Mr. President's comments, we did not put forward an increase in our water and sewer fees lightly. It is something that we have to keep evaluating and look at and make those tough decisions. But like everybody, everything's going up. Our team's telling us that our chemicals are going up by $800,000 on top of what we've already been budgeting. I mean, it's just insane, and we can't not fund it adequately. So hopefully programs like this, raising awareness for those folks, can take advantage of them. But certainly want to make sure that our online payment portal is working. So I'll check on that
in the
for you.
messaging, because then I was told when I called the office to get my water turned back on, even though I had a confirmation number. I'm like showing the guy, look, I've got confirmation I paid it last week. He goes, that's not it. Apparently, I think they're cutting off for the 50. Did you pay? What amount did you pay? And he goes, this is your cutoff fee. And it wasn't. It was, of course, minus the $50 fee, because I assumed, which I said, I got it now. Won't make that mistake again if I'm in this address, godforsaken address, for 42 more years. But I said, for right now, it doesn't help me. You're still going to cut off at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, mind you. So I'm really glad I was home, because if I came home at 4 o'clock and then was unable to have water for the night, I would have even said a lot of really bad words tomorrow instead of today. So, like I said, I need to apologize to them. But also, I was told they left a message. And I thought, that's crazy. I was home, unfortunately, sick all week. I was there. No messages were received on Friday that I was going to get cut off anyway, because my payment was minus the $50 fee. And I'm like, and then I got up even more upset, because I'm like, then you should have, why can't you add it to my bill? I'm here 42 years. Look at my phone, look at my water bill. Why can't you add it next quarter to the $50? Instead, you're here at 3 o'clock to turn off my water. And it was just, to me, it was unacceptable with the rate height. It's just extremely frustrating as a citizen. And I see next week's agenda is for a second reading and more public comments. I'm going to be interested in seeing if anybody else feels the way I do. But thank you for that listening. I'm sorry about it. It took more than 4 minutes.
If you'll hang out, I'll grab your phone number.
Just make sure you get with Julia after the meeting's over, okay?
Thank you so much. And I do want to say I took advantage of the bee pollinator program. So thank you. You came with my 3 little pods, which I was like a little scared about, because I'm like, oh, okay, we're here just to put these 3 little pods in, but I was told they're going to cover 5 square feet. So I'm looking forward to that, and thank you guys for what you're doing. I think that's great. Thank you for participating. Thanks.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I think Lynn Bratton had wanted to comment earlier, so if Lynn still wants to chat.
Okay.
I muted her before, let's see. Give her a minute. Lynn?
Hi, can you hear me or not?
Yes, we can.
Oh, great. This is Lynn Bratton. I live at 303 South Boulevard in the city of Salisbury. Been there not quite as long as the lady before me, but almost as long. I wanted to comment, but it's already passed, so I don't know whether the point is valid to even speak on it, on the ordinance concerning the registration of vacant lots. I'd like to say that I do not own any vacant lots that are not that are in commercial districts. So I'm not speaking particularly from a personal perspective, except from a philosophical perspective of I still don't know why that was necessary. I brought that up at the last meeting and didn't get any real good answers from anybody on the council, privately or otherwise. We already pay taxes on those properties. They're already registered. You can find out who owns them through SSTAT. It's a simple process. If there's something going wrong on those properties, I don't understand why they can't be addressed the same way we address things that are happening on other properties in the city of Salisbury. I just don't know why the additional paperwork. There was a comment about land banking made by the mayor at one point, and I don't quite understand what's wrong with somebody purchasing land in the aspiration of it being worth more in the future, possibly as an investment or for grandchildren to inherit or whatever. So I'm still just concerned as to why was that ordinance even necessary? And it seems redundant. It seems overkill. And thankfully, I only have one residential vacant lot, but it's joining another piece of property that I own where people live and they park on that lot. As for the other lady, bless her heart, I understand. One of my clients actually applied for the WIN program on the Thursday or Friday prior to the date that the water bill was due, thinking that we would have time for her papers to process through. And as of the May 4th cutoff date, she contacted the city in the morning. It wasn't paid. I contacted them later that afternoon, I believe, and or I did it the day before. But anyway, long story short, I finally paid that water bill for my client because she did not have the money and nobody from the WIN program had told her, nor have they yet told her whether she qualified, but she seemed to have met all the criteria, including being eligible and having received ERAP funds. So I don't see where that WIN program has helped any of my clients because it doesn't turn around quickly enough. And once the bill is paid, you no longer qualify. And if you don't pay it, the water gets shut off. So it didn't kind of work very well for my client, who I thought applied very, very timely. I even took the paperwork in for her, so I know it was turned in, and I put it directly in the hand of the lady up in the social services department who told me she was in charge of the program. So there wasn't a miscommunication between my client telling me something that she hadn't really followed up with. I did the follow-up for her. So that's all I have for tonight. Apparently, you've already passed that ordinance, but I want to go on record to say I don't quite understand the reason for it. It seemed like it was redundant legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Okay, anybody else wish to speak? Okay. We'll now have administrative comments.
Just to circle back to the WIN program, it is a partnership with social services. We were inundated with folks requesting the applications. So I'll chat with finance tomorrow to see what our usage has been and if we can work through any of these kinks that have been shared today. But folks that are interested can go to our website, just salisbury.md/win, WIN. Stop in our finance office. We'll put one in the mail if you call us, if you can't get down here. It is in multiple languages as well. And the second thing I'd like to share with you all is we announced a fun little program at the zoo. We're doing a baby shower for Chaska and her twins to help with a new den here in the future. So if you haven't given, you can give anywhere from 15 on up to I think 2,500. So, Mira will expect that check. And you'll get an invitation to an exclusive baby shower. And I've been to my fair share of baby showers, and I promise that this one will be fun. So that's all online.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Boda.
You got me covered on that $2,500 check.
Michelle said she would cover it.
Okay. Not much. Just remember May 21st is Hops on the River downtown at the amphitheater. So I think there's 2 rounds of events. The first one, City Administrator Julia Glanz will be pouring. Andy, are they allowing you near the alcohol?
I have to taste everything first.
Oh,
make sure. Quality control. Quality control.
Well, that's about it. Oh, and I guess we're Jay Copeland last night.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't make it in the top 5, but I'm sure he's well on.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
He's going to get eaten up by somebody.
He'll have a record done by the end
Yep.
of the summer, so
Yep,
looking forward to that.
yep. Angela?
I just want to bring up 2 things. One, please be safe around the school buses. A lot of people in the morning are blowing by the buses. I know it's late in the school year. We have 27 more days with the big yellow buses on the roads. Please be diligent. And there's a lot of small children. Their book bags are often larger than they are or heavier than they are. So, be kind to the kids getting on and off the bus. The other thing is, as always, if you're healthy enough, please donate blood. Thank you.
Counting down to the end of the school year, are you?
Of course I'm counting down. Kidding?
Michelle?
I just want to let folks know that even though it's not till August, the Phoenix Youth Project has announced their sneaker gala. Last time it was a small crowd, and it was just myself and the mayor playing basketball, so while dressed up. So it was a lot of fun, though, and I recommend if you want to get tickets, get them now.
Thank you. Just a couple of comments. First of all, just additional information for Mary. Several years ago, we had a consultant come in, if everybody remembers who was on there, and their recommendation was to increase immediately the water and sewer fees by 15%. And we chose not to do that, and because we just couldn't, we didn't think our people could afford it. So we put, I think it was 3 the first time, 3 the second, 6, and now 6, right? I think that's what it was. And we're still paying. So that's first. Second, I always second Angela's request for blood. It actually made the news again last night. I don't know if everybody saw, but
Yeah.
we're severely low on blood supply. So if you can give blood, please do. And the last thing I have is, again, please keep Ukraine in your prayers. They're fighting a hard struggle, and they're doing the best they can, but the devastation is remarkable and not good. So with that, hearing there's no other business, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
All right. We'll take a few minutes.